Well, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Women's Imaging at Imaging Specialists is dedicated to fighting the disease. Dr. John Carmain is here with information on early detection through diagnostic imaging. Welcome, Dr. Carmain. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. Now, let's start with an obvious question. What is breast cancer screening?
The screening regimen currently recommended is for annual screening mammography in women 40 years and older, as well as clinical breast exam performed by their doctor every 3 years. And some women who are at higher risk may need some additional screening such as MRI.
Oh, okay. Now, why is it important, for a facility like Imaging Specialists along this journey?
At Imaging Specialists, we have a dedicated women's imaging suite, which is private and separate from the rest of the facility. That allows the experience to be a little more comfortable, less fearful, and private, and we hope that encourages women to come in and get screened.
And it gives them just a little bit more attention to know that they're actually in a facility that caters just to this specific type of imaging.
Correct.
So it sort of gives them a peace of mind.
And we have radiologists available. We try to provide same-day results, so there's not that waiting period of anxiety between the time they get the test and the time they get the results.
Good. So to know really as soon as possible. Now, what are the guidelines for breast cancer screening?
Well, as I mentioned before, the current most societies recommend annual screening mammography for 40 years and older. If you have a first-degree relative, a mother or a sister who has breast cancer, you may qualify to start earlier than that, and that's something to discuss with your doctor.
And is that the 3T breast MRI?
MRI is an important part of the screening regimen for these women who are at high risk.
Okay.
For women who have a lifetime risk, who's 20% or greater, based on a number of calculation tools which are available online and your doctor will have, we recommend the addition of annual screening MRI in addition to mammography. It doesn't replace mammography. It complements it.
But it is an important screening tool.
It's an excellent screening tool for those who are at high risk. It's very sensitive, so we don't recommend it for the general population.
Okay.
So if you think you might qualify or need an MRI, you should discuss it with your doctor, or at the time of your mammogram, we're happy to talk to you.
Absolutely. Well, that is great. Now, where can people go to get more information on this and possibly schedule a screening? Does it have to go through their doctor?
They don't have to go through their doctor. Most doctors do prefer that you call them and let them know that you're due for your mammogram so they can order that and track that, but you're not required to obtain a order to get a screening mammogram.
Oh, okay. Now, here's a question. Insurance, is it covered? Is this particular MRI covered by insurance? Screening
mammography is covered, and for patients with a documented high risk, that family history that we had talked about, the MRI is typically covered, yes.
Okay, but they should have the documentation to prove that they fall into
Correct,
one
and
of those
usually
categories.
that can be a discussion with their doctor, and documentation in their medical record is usually adequate.
All right, Dr. Carmain, well, once again, where can people go to get more information?
Well, of course, our website at Imaging Specialists, imagingsc.com. Another excellent resource is the American Cancer Society's website, which is cancer.org, and has a wealth of information both about high-risk screening and high-risk calculation tools.
All right, Dr. Carmain, thank you so much for joining us. Valuable information, much needed. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Right, well, stay with us. We've got much more coming up after the break.